Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head over to Estonia once again, and this is yet another beer that we had from the små partiers in Systembolaget here in Sweden on the 7th of September 2018. But we've got another new Estonian brewery who I've never tried anything from. They really do have a thriving craft beer scene over there. Today we're going to go to the second city of Estonia, Tartu, home to the country's oldest university, Tartu University. Very, very lovely place. I have been there actually, and we're going to go to Pühaste Pruulikoda, and we're having a taste of their Sume today. So there you can see the lovely tiger on the label. I really do actually love the label on this one. I'll need to steam that off and keep it. But this one is an 8% double dry hopped IPA, and the hops in this one are Hallertau Blanc, Nelson Sauvin, Citra, and Victoria's Secret from Australia actually. So a very, very interesting hop combination. As I said, this is a brewery that I've not encountered before, but I've heard some really good things about these guys. You know, like I said, the Estonian beer scene is really kicking off just now. Pohjola, of course, is one that's really getting out there. There's Untappd, there's these guys, Pühaste. There's some really, really great breweries over there, and I do hope that I can get back to Estonia again and try some of those. One of my best friends from Aberdeen University when I did chemistry was Einar, and I went over to visit Estonia with him at one point, and that was really, really awesome. I really enjoyed my time there. It's a beautiful place. The people are very, very kind. You know, I couldn't recommend Estonia enough. And out of all the former communist countries, they've got the most you know, they're the most advanced economy these days. They're ridiculously entrepreneurial, the most wired society in all of Europe these days. You can go out and stand in the middle of the forest and you'll pick up 4G signal on your phone. It's absolutely crazy, but I had a great time, and you know, I always enjoy reviewing the Estonian beers because of that, so I'm sure I'll make it back over there soon. But anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that hopefully I can do in the future from Pühaste Pruulikoda. The very first time I'm trying one of their beers, of course. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Estonian beers that I've reviewed for you. That's being added to whenever I can. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Pühaste Pruulikoda then. So Pühaste, as I mentioned to you, are based in Tartu in southeastern Estonia, home to Estonia's oldest university. Very nice city actually. I really enjoyed the couple of days that we had there back in, I think it was 2013. But this company were founded back in 2016 by Eero Mander, Lauri Aideman and Ulla Kaljarand. So Lauri comes from an IT background, while Ulla is a businessman that specialised in restaurants and bars. Eero, on the other hand, was apparently a home brewer for a number of years. He started back in 2011 when he began brewing at his summer house in Pusa, and he released his first commercial beers in 2014 under the name Blessed Virgin, which proved to be really quite successful. But these guys started out officially as a gypsy brewery, and they brewed in various other breweries around Estonia, I think including Ulanat and some of the other ones that I hadn't heard of before actually, so I need to check those out. But they brewed a lot around different places in Estonia before they finally decided in 2015 to set up their own brewery. They opened this brewery in September of 2016, and it can be found in Tehe Street, which is in the southeastern part of the city. It looks a little bit more like a kind of industrial part of the town actually, but they had to expand their fermentation capacity already due to the high demand for their beers, and apparently they're producing around 3,500 hectolitres of beer per year already. So for a company that only started up, or a brewery that was only founded back in 2016 properly, I think that is really quite impressive. And you know, it's cool that we're getting some of their beers over here in Sweden now with the you know, we're getting more Estonian beers. It really is cool to see beers from different countries starting to get out there. It's cool to see the craft beer bug is spreading over further east into Europe as well. You know, Russia's got some really good craft beer, Estonia does, Poland are great at it, the Czechs, when I was over there, they've got their traditional beers, but they are getting a bit more adventurous these days. Hungary, I've had some very good things from Greece as well. You know, it really is cool to see that, you know, we're starting to get more and more countries producing some good craft beer, and it's cool to see that Estonian products notes are starting to make it a little bit more kind of further afield as well. But that's all you really need to know about the brewery just now. Let's get on to the actual tasting of this beer itself. So yeah, this one is an 8% double IPA. Like I said to you, it's hopped with Hallertau Blanc, Nelson Sauvin, Citra and Victoria's Secret. So one German, one New Zealand, one American and one Australian hop in this one, so a good mix in there. The IBUs on this one apparently are 45. It says on the side here, smooth and juicy IPA, massively hopped with Hallertau Blanc, Nelson Sauvin, Citra and Victoria's Secret, so it should be really nice. So yeah, let's get rid of the brewery notes and you can have a little look at the artwork then for this one. So yeah, there you can see, look at the tiger on that. Really is a beautiful, you know, the tigers are a beautiful animal. I'm really interested in all the kind of conservation efforts and things that are going on with the tigers in Asia and things, but look, absolutely beautiful, beautiful animals these. And there you can see, there's the Pühaste symbol. I do like that. I think that's a really, really cool way. The label design on this one is, you know, absolutely lovely. I'll definitely be steaming this label off and keeping it. And there is the Pühaste bottle cap there as well. You can see, just make sure the camera's focused on that. There you go. But without further ado then, let's get this guy out and get on with the tasting. I'm really, really interested to see how this beer turns out. So yeah. But yeah, as you can see, nice little bit of a smoky on. Incidentally, this one is a 330ml bottle, I think. It could be 375. It does look a little bit bigger, and it feels kind of heavy, this one. So, and it might actually be a little bit heavier than the 330s. But there you go, look at that. So this one, as you can see, it's poured a really lovely kind of bright yellow colour, this one. If I hold it up to the light, it's not even orange yet, it's definitely a lovely yellow colour. And as soon as you open this beer up, the Nelson Sauvin, and I'm guessing some of the Hallertau Blanc, the aromas really just jump out at you with this beer. But look at that, if I put my fingers behind the glass, you can see it's a nice, it is a little bit hazy, but it's nowhere near, I really wonder if this is going to be more of a West Coast type beer than a New England one, but we'll see when we get into the flavour. There's a solid finger of a frothy, I would say, yeah, perfect white head on this one actually. I think it is definitely white rather than creamy in that one. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass and a few going up towards the bottom of that head there, but overall I would say definitely a nice bright yellow, this one. Not even a little hint of orange in it, definitely a yellow one, and nice and hazy. So yeah, let's take a closer look at the aroma then and just see how we get on with this one. Oh, I'll tell you something, that smells absolutely lovely. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful smelling beer that. So straight away you get the nice kind of green grapey notes out of this one. Getting an itchy nose. Straight away you get the nice green grapey notes out of this beer, and that'll be the Nelson Sauvin and the Hallertau Blanc with this one. You know what, I have come across the Hallertau Blanc as well. I mean, this hop, from what I read a little bit about it before, having a taste of this beer. So it's supposed, the Hallertau Blanc is supposed to give you a little bit of a green grapey sort of thing, a little bit of elderflower. Apparently sometimes it can give you a bit of lemongrass and grapefruit as well. But it was developed back in 2012 at Hull in Germany, and it's somewhere, but it can give you between 9 and 12% alpha acid. So for a German hop, it really is quite high in terms of its alpha acid. I think I've had one or two beers with Hallertau Blanc in it before, but it's cool to see that the Germans are experimenting a little bit more with the higher alpha acid hops. And in this beer, you really can pick up, I mean, the Nelson Sauvin's really obvious. It's that, you know, it's that lovely white, green, grapey kind of quality. And in this beer, you can smell those mixing together, but I think a little touch of the elderflower is coming out, and I think, you know, a little bit of it almost does have a little bit of a lemongrassy note to it as well. But yeah, definitely mangoes in this one as well from the Citra. And there's a bit, there's a pineapple-y and passion fruity note as well, which I'm guessing, yeah, definitely that'll be a little bit from the, the Victoria's Secret in this one, I would say. There's a hair on my face somewhere and it keeps getting in the way. It's really annoying me in this video. But yeah, it smells lovely, this beer. Just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of this one. There's a lot of fruity notes to it as well. I think there's a wee bit of a lychee or a kind of gooseberry note coming out on the back of this. There's something in there, and that mixes really well with the Hallertau Blanc and the Nelson Sauvin hops, of course, as well. When you go a bit further into it, the aroma, it dies away a little bit, I think. Once your nose adjusts to this one, the aroma, I think, fades a little touch. But yeah, in terms of the floral grassy side of the hops, I would say this one leans a little bit more towards the grassy side of things. Like I was saying, there is a little bit of an almost lemongrassy quality to it. But on the malty side of the beer, it's quite bready, this one. Definitely a little bit bready. Nice sort of, yeah, there's a bit of caramel. I think there's a little touch of caramel in there. There could be a little biscuity note to it as well, and I think there could be a bit of oat. I do wonder if they're sort of going for one of these hybrid malt bases between the New England type and the West Coast type IPAs. So yeah, it's a really interesting one, this. As I always say, take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of the beer before you get stuck into it. But let's have a taste of this one then. So this one is the Sume from Pühaste Pruulikoda in Tartu in the southeast of Estonia. Let's get stuck into this one. Slange, skål. Yeah, that's a good IPA. The first impression that I have of this one, you know, as I've said in a couple of videos, it's been all about the hazy IPAs recently, these big hazy, oaty, juicy kind of things. This one for me, it does have a little touch of that flavour to it, but it's got that more oily mouth feel that you would expect to the West Coast IPAs, and I really like that about this beer. You know, I always think with the malt base, you want a touch of sweetness to it. You don't want it just to be a flat malt base. I think having a little bit of caramel or a little bit of biscuit or something in your malt base, it just adds a little bit more complexity to the beer, and I love having a little bit of that sweet backbone to it, and this one is really nice. I should have said Tervisex when I opened up this beer as well. Meant to do that. Yeah, shocking. But yeah, this is really nice, this one. If you get the chance to try it, have a go at it. It really is good. And I mean, the Estonian beers that I've had before, I have been really impressed with all of them. So, you know, go and try these Estonian craft beers. You'll have a great time with them. So with this one then, in terms of the malt base then, definitely a sort of bready quality, that blankets the middle of your tongue. On top of that, you've got a nice sort of biscuity sweetness there. Right in the middle of your palate, you can pick up a little bit of caramel as well. There is a slightly richer caramel to this beer. I do think there's a bit of an oaty note to this one as well. I think there is a little bit of oat in the malt base of this beer, but overall, like I say, the malt base for me, it's almost a combination of the New England type. I do reckon there is a New England, there is a bit of that oaty quality in the malt base, and I would guess a little touch of wheaty malt as well, to be honest, because it does have that smoothness to it, but it also has a little bit of the sweeter thing that you would expect from the West Coast IPAs as well. It's really nice, this one. I like how everything kind of blends together. The malt base for me, they've got it spot on with this, and I like it has a bit more of an oily mouthfeel to it, and I always want an oily mouthfeel when it comes to the IPAs, I have to admit. So yeah, really nicely done. And the thing is, this one has a lot of the kind of juicy flavours to it, and I mean, it's only 45% IBUs, right enough. The West Coast ones I think usually go up to about the sort of 60, 70, sometimes 80 mark in the IBUs, but for me, this one, it has a nice level of bitterness as you go back and further into the aftertaste with this one. It really is, it's good how everything goes together. So let's start on the hoppy side of this beer then. Back corners of the palate, little teeny tiny touch of sweet earthiness in there. I do wonder if that's the Hallertau Blanc, because I've always said that the noble hops, the German noble hops, they've got this really distinctive sweet earthiness, and I'm picking up a little bit of that in the back corners of the palate. And as you come further forward, you get a little touch of almost piney resin out of this one, which, if I remember rightly, that should be the Victoria's Secret. I do remember the Victoria's Secret gave just this little bit of piney resin, but then as you come further forward towards the front of the tongue, it becomes a little bit more slightly spicy and floral aromatic, and then round the very front curve of the palate, it's a little bit more like a sort of lighter, kind of grassy sort of thing. It's almost got a little bit of a lemongrassy quality to it, this beer. But yeah, that's really, really nice. I'll just say a big thumbs up to Pühaste for this one. A massive Tervisex from me. But it's a lovely beer. I really want to try some of their other things. I always think when you try a new brewery, you need to get something from the dark side and you need to get something from the light side. So I think I'd like to try an Imperial Stout or something like that from these guys next time. But yeah, it's the way the fruity qualities in this beer are coming out are really nice as well. So if you just go behind the front curve of your tongue or the front curve of your palate, you'll get that little oily bubble where those juicy fruity esters start to come out of the beer. For me, it's got everything. I mean, you can pick out the green grapey flavours, and they're interesting because they start off early, but they really do linger into the aftertaste. And like I said, that'll be both the Hallertau Blanc and the Nelson Sauvin. I think those two hops would combine ridiculously well if you had those on your own right enough. Something I might try with some home brewing later, but a really nice beer. This one, I like that sort of green grapey note to it. When you get a bit more into it, I think the mangoes from the Citra start to come out as well. Yeah, you get the green grapey base and then the mangoes. You've seen how long it was since I took a sip. The mangoes are starting to come out a little bit now. And the passion fruit as well. There's a little touch of that darker passion fruit flavour just towards the very kind of tip of your tongue there. I'm not sure I'm getting much in the way of pineapple. Sometimes you can get pineapple from Victoria's Secret, but I think not so much in this case. Maybe a little touch on the very tip of your tongue. But as you go further and further into the aftertaste, I think the green sort of grapey notes of this beer really start to come out a little bit more. And then you've got the gooseberries and the lychees and stuff, the kind of more complex notes that you can get from the Citra, really mixing in with that. The Citra is a very, very good hop to use to complement with the likes of the Nelson Sauvin or the Hallertau Blanc. I think when you've got those kind of softer but quite juicy flavours, I think that's a really, really nice hop to use to complement, because you do get the lychees and the gooseberry complexity. Sometimes you get a bit of lime as well, actually, out of the Citra, depending on what you use it with. But it's the way all the flavours in this one go together are really nice. I do think the sort of green grapey notes in this one are the most prominent fruits, but then you've got the complexities on top of that, the mangoes, the passion fruit, those kind of things. I think it's really nice how this beer goes together, so do make sure that you have a go at this one if you get the chance. I think it is absolutely lovely. I'm wondering now if Sume in Estonian is tiger. I'm suspecting that it may well be, but this is a beautiful, beautiful beer, this one. Have a go at it for yourself and see what you think. It really is cool to get something like this out of Estonia. I mean, I know they do some good beers, but I think most of the beers, if I remember correctly, that I've tried from Estonia, the craft beers, have all been Imperial Stouts and things like this. I think this might be one of the few IPAs that I've tried from Estonia, but they certainly seem to be doing a very, very good job with them. So if you get the chance to try some of the Pühaste beers, I really recommend that you do. In terms of the mouthfeel then, this one, I would be tempted to say this is a kind of almost full-bodied beer. It's a very, very oily mouthfeel, this one, compared to some of the other ones that I've had. So I'd be tempted to say this is quite a full-bodied IPA. The carbonation's very, very smooth. Like I said, it's a big, oily, almost syrupy mouthfeel to this one, but it really suits it, I think. You've got a good balance in the malt base there. You've got some of the smoothness, I think, from some oaty and kind of wheaty aspects of the beer. But you've also got the kind of sweetness, a little bit the oily quality that helps bring out some of the caramel and biscuity flavours as well. As I've gone further through this beer, I do think there's a sort of wheaty, a little bit of a wheaty smoothness to it, and that's mixing, I think, with some oaty flavours in there as well. But yeah, lovely malt base to this one. It's got a good, it's almost like a hybrid between the New England and the West Coast malt bases, if you like. Good little bit of hoppy bitterness. This one's only 45, so it's not going to blow your head off in terms of bitterness, but it does have that nice sort of spicy floral kind of thing that you would want from an IPA, and a lovely juicy fruity quality as well. The oily feel of this beer helps bring out those really nicely, particularly the grapey notes, I would say, as well. But overall, an absolutely lovely beer, and I'm really glad that I got to review something else from Estonia. So yeah, let's leave it at that. So the Pühaste Pruulikoda Sume, lovely, lovely beer, and one that I definitely recommend that you check out. So let's leave it at that for just now. Once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Pühaste Pruulikoda as well. and I'm sure we'll return to these guys in the near future. Make sure you check out my social media and do give me some other recommendations for Estonian breweries that I should check out. I'd love to be able to review more of these. I might have to do like a mail order or something like that and try and get a lot of different ones. But thank you again for watching, and I will catch you guys very soon. This was the Pühaste Pruulikoda Sume from Tartu in Estonia. Terveyseks, and I will catch you guys very soon. Cheers.